Hey, it's Jay with some mystery-related content. It's time to meet another lesser-known detective, or rather detectives, as I think we technically have 3 of them here, and I refuse to divide by hierarchy as the title seems to do. We're discussing 1982's Tucker's Witch. While I often rap poetic about the 70s particular aesthetic, I also love the 80s. It was a very wacky time. And while I've talked about some detectives that started in the 80s, this is the first show that is from the 80s. Do you feel me? This is their office in Laurel Valley, in the center of 80s excess. These are the schemes and murders of the young, hot idiots of Los Angeles. And our lead couple are just as hot. They can't keep their hands off each other. These two are very much in love and are going at it like twice a day. They put in so much effort in their lovemaking. Oh, right, you're probably wondering about the name. Yes, magic is real and she's 100% witch. She's doing magic all the time. Let's dig into the show originally titled The Good Witch of Laurel Valley, starring Amanda the Witch, her familiar Dickens, her mother Ellen, and also her dumbass husband Rick Tucker. Amanda Tucker is a bona fide witch with inherited magical powers from her grandmother, the powers skip a generation. She doesn't really cast spells or anything, it's more psychic abilities than practiced witchcraft. She gets visions, both in real life and her dreams, is able to manipulate objects from a distance, and sometimes can do some object reading, although she doesn't do it very often. She uses her powers pretty liberally, like 3 or 4 times an episode, and every time she needs to make this irritating twang noise. Which is a little much, but at least it's a good audio signal. While she does lean on her magic abilities to help her in a spot, she also has some pretty good deductive reasoning skills, with only a little extra help from her stray, vague visions. She's mostly trying to tie things back to that weird set of words she spouted out earlier, because she's very confident her visions will be helpful, even though we frequently see her powers fail or misdirect. But she still figures it out most of the time, and enjoys doing the detective stuff. She's a half-partner in the agency, after all. She's a little woo-woo, but not too much. She doesn't really do potions or alchemy or rituals. She's more of a bewitched style witch. Not a lot of Wiccan vibes. She doesn't even dress all that witchy, more like a hot modern woman, just a normal person who's excited about her work and also occasionally receives messages from the universe and can make things happen whenever this weird sound happens. She also has a familiar, Dickens, who is a long-haired ragdoll with full sentience and occasional visions. He could communicate directly with Amanda, transmitting his thoughts directly to her, usually a warning of some kind, or a complaint. He can sense danger and frequently acts to protect Amanda. He actually gets a ton of business, it's great. Sometimes it's comedy business, like how he gets mad when he has to go to the vet, haha, but it's always exciting when Dickens gets something to do. Despite the title, they really do make it clear that Amanda is her own person with her own talents and skills, and frequently saves herself when in peril. They handle her pretty well, a modern woman at work. Yes, they also treat her as eye candy. She is frequently taking baths or lounging around in lingerie, and yes, the show loves to reinforce the marriage with very pointed language.
His Highness compliment you on the lady's beauty. Does she belong to you?
Yes, I do.
She's not just his wife, his witch, but also she is very much that. Rick Tucker is a young hotshot private eye, and do you really need any more characterization than that? He acts exactly the way you'd expect. Cavalier, dodgy, coming on with a strong front when really he's lying to your face because he's on a case. He's charming enough that you barely notice, just kind of gliding on his white male confidence and good looks. He's a drinker and a gambler and a prankster, and Amanda loves him just so much. They're always making out, always DTF. Every episode includes at least one instance of them having a romantic rendezvous, going to extreme lengths to have some amazing sex. Look at this setup. How did this happen? I imagine it's easier to get all these candles lit when you have literal magic, but just a ton of work. Also, what is Dickens doing there? You know this guy is fully sentient. He knows what's going on here. Don't let Dickens watch. He's a big clown, but an enjoyable enough one to watch. He's always doing something kind of dumb or going off on a stupid monologue. Loves his job, loves driving fast, loves being independently wealthy, which I can only assume because there's no way he's making enough in the PI game to be driving this car around. During one of those steamy shirtless scenes, they talk about all the international locations they visited before they were married. This guy must have a trust fund or something, right? He's also a stupid chauvinist dickhead sometimes because he's a man on television.
Maybe he's part of a big international gambling cartel. Then he took the money and ran. He might even have a bank account in Switzerland.
Where do you get this stuff? Does it come out of your head, or is it all those late-night movies, or what?
But at least the show spends more time sexualizing him than they do Amanda. We meet so many women who are horny for Rick, but you'll be glad to know he stays faithful the whole time. What more can I say? Amanda loves him, so I guess good enough. The Tuckers are supported in their private eye business by the usual cast of wacky characters. The most prominent one is Ellen, Amanda's mother, who lives with them and does mother-in-law stuff. You know, forget to let the plumber in for the 4th time, answers every call with a radio ad because she's hoping to win a vacation.
KGOB plays all the hits.
Training for her driver's license test, standard mother-in-law stuff. She's always puttering around, she's nervous and infuriating, she's got so many chores and she runs a home business.
10 more orders for Slumberland tea. I knew it would be a big seller.
Are you sure they're drinking it and not smoking it?
What? Oh. Well, whatever. Pays the rent.
She has a boyfriend named Bernie who he never meets. They met at a Chinese cooking class. She came directly from Central Casting. I like Ellen. She's not overly irritating or frustrating, not causing huge issues, just kind of doing her own thing in the background. Maybe she'll help out this episode, maybe not. But it's always fun to see what she's up to. At one point she goes rushing to rescue Rick and Amanda because they are the most important people in her life. It's quite sweet.
Marcia, those are the 2 people I love most in the world. I'm on my way.
They have one employee, Marcia, and she's just around. She never gets to do anything interesting. She's always either dropping by to give them the next lead she just looked up, or being called and told to look something up for them so she could complain about it. It's amazing how little they give her to do. At one point, the Tuckers are in danger, having walked into a trap and unreachable, and Marcia is worried about them, so she calls Ellen to go rescue them. Kinda ridiculous. The only bit of business she gets is in the last episode, where we discover she is in some kind of situationship with this informant Harold.
There I was, sick in bed, half dead with the flu.
I didn't know you were sick.
That's my point. Do you call to see how I am? Come over here, Howard.
A real waste of Valkyrie Woodard's talents, but it was early career for her. She got better roles. They also have a contact in the police force because private detectives always got to have a contact in the police force. Otherwise, how will they know about crime? He's Sergeant Fisk, a very genial old man. He's always happy to see them, very friendly.
Say, could either of you tell me something I don't know?
Well, like what, Lieutenant?
Like what both of you are doing here. I don't mean to pry, of course. Well, if it isn't Tom Swift and his electric witch. Hi, kids.
I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or if he actually just likes them. He just seems like a real alright guy. He doesn't do anything interesting, he's just nice. There is also a comedy morgue attendant. You gotta have a goofy morgue guy. Those people are all creeps and weirdos hanging out with the dead. So of course they're oddballs who store a bunch of fresh fruit and snacks in one of the corpse freezers. Oh man, this joke must have been very hilarious as we see him open this treat cabinet 3 times. One time he takes a nap on one of his gurneys. Just a real freak. So all of our characters live in Crime Los Angeles, the version of Los Angeles in detective shows where there's a strong chance everyone you talk to is in deep with the mob, or being hunted by a trained assassin, or is secretly a serial killer. You know, crime stuff. Things that happen in order to make an episode of television happen. There are 12 episodes, so I might as well talk about all of them. Which I'm going to arbitrarily rank based on how much Dickens gets to do. From least to most, here are the 12 cases that Dickens assisted with. The lowest couple of episodes on this list are episodes where we get more actual magic that is just canon in the Tucker's Witch universe. And in this one, we learn that psychics are real. As we meet Stephen Kubler, some jerk who has been living in this hotel for 30 years as like a live-in psychic. He's just always here to do party tricks. Who has decided to use his fame and proximity to steal a big ruby and get away with it. He has some kind of psychic ability. We see him learn about Amanda via a vision where they cut to footage of Amanda standing around, which leads us to believe that's what our friend Steve is seeing. Kuleshov effect. So he must have actual abilities. It can't all be cold reading and knowing details about the crime because he did it. He frustrates Amanda throughout the episode, constantly using his involvement in the case to mislead and cover up issues, like the fact that the taxi driver can confirm nobody entered or exited the hotel at the time of the crime, so it had to be someone inside. So it's time to kill the driver in a way that eventually ends up exposing him, and also Amanda figures out what her vague box vision meant. So he tries to kidnap everyone and escape the hotel with the loot, but it's not an 80s action show unless someone is going in that pool. It's an intriguing episode premise with the things it just assumes. The villainy of Mr. Kubler is fun to watch. There are some very unfortunate men in kafayas as a red herring. Could have done without that. But Dickens doesn't fuck with this guy. He doesn't even want to meet this jerk. All the Dickens we see this episode is when he reveals he was sitting at the table with them during dinner, adorable, to reveal information they already knew.
Rick, Dickens has a message. The thief has something to do with the hotel.
Amanda, that doesn't exactly narrow it down.
The second episode with more magic than usual involves a mummy's curse. An archaeological crew has come across a pretty valuable mummy and are trying to sell it to a collector. Totally against the rules, but Sidney Brockman here is overcome by greed or magic to start killing his partners and taking women hostage, and the Tuckers are hired to look into the case by this man who talks strange, like his English isn't great, he keeps disappearing, and pleads that the stolen magic belongs with his people, and pays them 5 16th century Spanish doubloons to take the case. Pretty sure this guy is a spirit of some kind. This is 100% a peasant who was sacrificed for the express purpose of defending this mummy. It's a silly episode with a hostage situation, and Dickens doesn't do much besides walk all over the kitchen counter while Rick makes this coffee machine explode. This cat's fearless. Dickens is back up on that goddamn kitchen counter again in this episode where the Tuckers are hired to track down a stolen corpse, in which some diamonds were being smuggled, and everyone's trying to find it when a thief's van breaks down and gets towed. It's a huge adventure. Rick has to hide behind a box like a video game level. They're tailed the whole time by this strange woman who eventually reveals herself to be a known acrobat jewel thief, although not known enough to have a name.
Name one of your children after me. What is your name? Make one up.
It's kinda wild, but Ellen has turned the kitchen into a work site in her quest to fix the back door, so Dickens isn't hanging around for that. Strange Ben in the house, he's for sure under a bed right now. He may understand English, but he's still a cat. The Tuckers have a new client, a hot playboy hairdresser who believes he has a hit out on him, but he's also a complete dumbass horn dog who is constantly trying to slip away from his security detail. The perfect target for a femme fatale assassin, Spike, who uses her good looks to get men alone and murder them. Nobody knows anything about Spike because they're all morons.
I also don't understand these reports on Spike's victims. One man found dead floating in a hot tub, another in the backseat of a car at the drive-in. Charlie Hedge in a motel.
Sounds random to me.
So she's able to get a job at his salon and is always just moments away from taking him out, if not for the persistence of Amanda to remind this guy someone is trying to kill him. Dickens provides a warning about dangerous fog, which can only be foreshadowing of the scene where Amanda gets trapped in a sauna room, which was really unnecessary, Dickens. I already knew someone was getting trapped in there. I already saw there was a sauna here. What else was going to happen with it? Spike locks Amanda in there, but Rick saves her. It's fine, just a light damseling. They finally stop her from killing this dipshit, even though he really should have just been murdered, as he was minutes away from going alone with this woman on his boat, the Jolly Justin. Jesus Christ, I hate him. Hope he paid them well. A candidate for office is using computers to force his opponents to leave the race, fatally if necessary, otherwise they will reveal their dirt. A plot dependent on a ton of variables, you'd think this wouldn't be so successful, but that's the power of computers in 1982. The plan is going swimmingly, with one problem, and that is a hacker who has been poking around their networks. She even signed her work. As luck would have it, the Tuckers were just hired by the school to figure out who's been breaking into the computer room at night, and surprise, it's Bart Simpson in one of her rare live-action performances, Nancy Cartwright, where she was cast primarily for still looking 15 while in her early 20s.
Man, you must be primo detectives. Here, I made a printout of the information they were stealing. What's the matter with her?
There is somebody in this building with us.
Hi, how does she...
Don't ask.
Oh, wow!
Cowabunga!
She's a very fun character, this huge nerd who can casually hack anything, and she has a big crush on Rick and needs to be politely told they aren't going to have sex together, despite the age consent in Saudi Arabia.
I'm a married man, and you are 16 years old.
In Saudi Arabia...
We're not in Saudi Arabia.
She's cool, she plays string with Dickens, look how much fun he's having. They use her hacker skills to expose the politician. How else will this go? Moving on. A real eccentric weirdo has been murdered via poisonous perfume. Also, Greg Henry can get his hands on his secret perfume formula, Revenge. He fortunately has already hired the Tuckers to investigate his murder and figure out his secret riddle to find the real formula, a very strange man, whose death I can't focus on because I'm looking at the Spencer's gifts in the background. Did you know they were around in 1982? It's a wild adventure. Amanda gets chased around by a masked guy with an axe. Rick dresses up as a cowboy for no reason. Ellen bakes a lot of pies. Dickens nudges Amanda to look into the Rosetta Stone reference in the riddle, as that will lead them to the character actor Liz Torres, who the strange perfume man left the actual secret recipe with. Then Greg Henry tries to murder them at an amphitheater and fails. Go to jail, Greg Henry. You should really stop killing people on the orders of this evil woman. That's illegal.
Hey, take care of this guy, will you? He kills people.
This dumbass murders a woman because she got between his partnership with Jesus Christ Superstar. It's a real Columbo plot as we see him try to maneuver around the Tuckers who are hired to find her. He doesn't realize that his murder was being recorded, and it's just kind of a loaded spring the whole episode. There's always some fun shenanigans where the Tuckers both go undercover at the record office. Rick as a reporter who pisses everyone off and then is exposed as a PI when Ellen calls the office and asks for him. Amanda as a young pop artist, and
I start to unwind, baby, you're gonna find that love is a dangerous thing.
yeesh, she is not very good. I guess the leather jacket is doing most of the work here. Dickens tells Amanda where she can find the body.
5 red cans?
There's the red gas cans that Dickens saw.
Dickens, who's that? That's our cat.
And also doesn't like spaghetti. Big help, Dickens. Anywhere, here's some soft rock Ted Neely for your enjoyment.
Don't take the love away that you taught me to receive. Linden love, say you'll never leave.
The Tuckers' neighbor got himself in trouble with the mob, and now it's their problem, trying to find him and keep him safe, all while the mob stalks the house. Really irritating Dickens, who does not like their presence, and is fussing about them, keeping an eye on them from atop the treetops. He does a great job. Very protective, familiar. The first episode was a fun surprise. It's pre-Cheers Ted Danson, who's here taking a woman into an empty high-rises elevator and murdering her. So that's worrisome. The Tuckers are hired to look into it, and they're able to track all the way back to this video dating service, an extremely 1980s setting for the centerpiece of your introduction. In real life, this service was used by a few thousand people, max, but this is like the third time I've seen it in the center of a murder plot. They both sign up for the service, and the whole thing has the weirdest vibe in the world. Rick goes on a date with Beth, who seems to use this service exclusively to be a sugar mommy, and she reveals that Ted keeps tabs on all the women who use the dating service? Oh, you mean the serial killer? And the way that Ted talks about the whole thing...
This shows you're a member in good standing at Data Match. It's your golden key to a whole new way of life.
Real creep vibes. Rick bungles the operation when he steals some videotapes, blowing their cover, and Ted uses his position of authority to bully Amanda into a date, and it's only after she's in the car with him when she realizes how bad the vibes are. Don't worry, she gets away, and it's all thanks to Dickens, who tells Rick that Amanda left a message and she's in trouble. He's a good familiar. Rick thanks him.
Hey, Dickens! Thanks, pal.
3 cheers for Dickens. Okay, Amanda did a good job of using her powers to escape Ted, and Rick did get there in time to chase him into an elevator, and then the cops showed up. Well, Dickens set things into motion. Good for him. This episode centers on the daughter of a shipping empire magnate played by Vincenzo, who has been missing for decades after being kidnapped and adopted by some lady named Florence, who she loves as a mother. She has been targeted for assassination by Vincenzo's other daughter to clear the line for the inheritance, and evil Sergeant Coopersmith comes after her with a knife and kills Florence. So it's up to the Tuckers to keep her safe. It's pretty fun, pretty silly. Dickens gets some scritches, warns Amanda about a crane accident, and is used as a projectile in a stunt that I would not condone, but at least they appear to be very light tosses. He has full control over his landing, and Amanda asked permission beforehand, so I'm not really that stressed about it. They eventually convince the evil daughter to not try to kill her, and the kidnapped daughter is reunited with her father in a bittersweet way. I do want to stop and throw a little more respect on Simon Oakland, who really was one of the great character actors, and this is his last role before dying from cancer in 1982. He definitely shows his age, but still puts in time doing what he does best, yelling like a real blowhard.
I worked like a dog my whole life, taking care of my family, even taking care of him. He could have had a share of all this.
Thank you for the shouting, Simon. Did you know he was in Psycho? Wild. A Gotham columnist type lady found a snake in her shower one day, so she hires the Tuckers to keep an eye out for her. Turns out this guy who is hanging around is secretly dating her daughter, and because he's worried that the mother won't accept him, he's dropping lights on people while wearing a gorilla suit and blowing up cars with plastic explosives. Just some real curious behavior by young Darren here. He stores the remaining plastic explosive in this cat statue that the daughter just gives to Amanda because it reminds her of Amanda's familiar Dickens.
I call him Humphrey. Here, I want you to have him. Oh, I couldn't. Please. That'd make me very happy.
What a bizarre way to set up a huge conflict later, when he breaks into the Tucker's house to get the cat statue back, and everyone almost is exploded because these freaks just leave their fireplace on all the time. I know where you live. It is definitely not cold enough to require a fireplace overnight. You are asking for this danger. Dickens figures out immediately this statue is bad news, but he's all riled up because there's a raccoon in the house. He also got himself trapped when the animal services guy came by. It's been a wild couple of days for him. The last episode is about some prick who kills his wife and hires the Tuckers to pin it on her lover, and they are moderately tricked until he reveals something he shouldn't know, and then they trick him into implicating himself and getting arrested. It's fine. But Dickens gets to do so much in this episode. For one, they told him he needed to go to the vet, and he's been knocking shit off counters as protest.
Never should have told him about that vet's appointment on Thursday. Mother, he's got to have his shots.
Then he gets to go for a car ride out to the mountains, have a pleasant time by the lake. Amanda takes him to the vet just loose in the car. Makes sense. If you can ask your cat to politely stay seated, why would you need a carrier? And takes him with her when she checks out this junkyard. Someone lets the dogs out and Amanda is trapped, but Dickens heroically distracts them so Amanda can get free, and also Rick shows up and they all leave in the same car and just leave their other car there. This is a junkyard. If you abandon a car here, they're just gonna take it. Please tell me someone came back for it. But man, Dickens did so well. Good job, little guy. Hope your handler gave you bonus treats. The show has some mellow vibes, regardless how exciting the hijinks get. The score can rarely be bothered to get too excited. You just feel how invincible these young people are. They were frequently put in a small amount of peril, but that's usually quickly resolved. A bit of light enjoyment, a bit wacky, with nothing too gruesome or gritty, more jokes than intrigue. A pleasant watch, if a bit slow in the usual way. The show leans towards a more crime story format, more Columbo than whodunit, and our detectives are both pretty competent, if a bit slow for story purposes. There is an over-reliance on literal magical powers to help with their detectiving, but like, if you got magic powers, go ahead and use them all the time. Apparently, nobody cares, and it's never going to get you in trouble. If anything, people regard it as a cool parlor trick, not the mind-blowing phenomenon it is. What do you mean you can casually move things from a distance? This is huge! How does it work? Why are powers so vague? Why do Amanda and Dickens both get visions, but different visions? He's her familiar. Shouldn't they be getting the same visions? The show is also a bit soft-core. There's a lot of scenes with implied nudity, a lot of Rick walking around without his shirt on, so many candles getting lit. It's kinda racy. Not in a way that's going to offend grandma, but like, there's a little bit of it here. These kids are always slowly turning down the lights while they kiss. You know what that means. Sex. Sexual activities. Our main cast are not the most famous people in the world, but they are both prolific actors, as Tim Matheson started as the original voice of Johnny Quest and has constantly gotten more work and handsomer even up to today. Catherine Hicks had a strong start in soap operas before using this role to become a movie star, starring in Child's Play and Star Trek IV, The One with the Whales, before tragedy strikes and she plays the mom on Seventh Heaven for 11 seasons, which seems to have scuttled her career. Like I said, they're both charming, but Amanda did not really nail witch, you know? Her mystical energy wasn't quite right. She seemed like a second choice. And it turns out she was, as the pilot for the show was originally shot with Kim Cattrall and Tim Hinkle, but supposedly, because of her involvement with the film Porky's, the suits demanded a recast, and so they got Kathy and Tim instead. The pilot was never aired and was mostly unseen until it just popped up on Amazon one day, and you could just watch it now. Sometimes the future is good. The pilot is almost shot for shot the same as the first episode, with Ted Danson as the evil VHS dating service killer, but it's clear that Kim Cattrall was a much better choice, and frankly, we were robbed. Now that's how a witch dresses. You can definitely feel the woo-woo wafting off her. Much better presence. I wonder if there was any bad blood between them because of the recast. A secret feud with their similar career trajectories. Kim Cattrall also playing a major character in a Star Trek movie, as well as a famous role in an aughts staple show which managed to stifle her career. I guess Kim Cattrall won in the end. She was on How I Met Your Father, which is a role, at least. Art Hinkle I cannot be bothered to care about. He kinda sucks, actually. Tim Matheson was a good pickup. I don't know, an interesting what if, but we got the show we did, and it's a perfectly okay watch. These kids get up to some hijinks, and if you like your detective shows a little spicy, this can be a good time. I have nothing else to say about the Tuckers. Let's wrap it up. Keep the spirit of Columbo in your heart, dedicated to the truth and to holding rich assholes accountable. Bye.